Good morning and welcome to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook, along with producer Alden Iwani. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Today's special guest, the head coach of the undefeated, top-ranked in Max Preps, Volcano Vista Hawks, and someone I've known for a very long time. Greg Brown, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it.
You know, Coach, we go back many years. You know, I remember when you were the assistant at Albuquerque Academy, Natalie dressed in your suits, man, under your pop. And, I still remember that. You and Coach Coleman, by the way. You know, Joe Coleman, people forget that, was an assistant. Your dad's coaching tree goes a long way. And I remember telling Coach Coleman one time, Joe, if you come out of the box again, man, that's when I officiated. And, Joe is Joe. You are you. You're going to fight for your teams. And you all different, by the way. You and your brother Danny and your late father Mike were all different in the way you worked officials, but you sure got your point across. Coach, again, welcome to the show. 18-0 on the season. Tell us a little bit about this year's version of the Hawks, because you've had some great teams in the past at Manzano, some great teams at Volcano Vista. Tell us about this year's version of the undefeated Hawks.
So we have 6 seniors this year, and some kids that have been with us for several years. We have 2 kids, really 3 that were with us as freshmen: Jaquan Hill, Caden Valdez, Jaden Malone, and actually Oscar McCoy. They floated a little bit as freshmen, so they've been there with us. They understand. They've been through the good runs with us, because as sophomores we started 14-0, and then had some a tough stretch there in district. And then last year they went through a tough year with us last year, where we were only 5-5, and then we returned everybody. But I enjoy coaching these guys. If I can keep my mask on my face, because it always slides down. But I enjoy these guys. They have a sense of urgency about them. They appreciate the moment, the opportunity. You can tell they're seniors, following their lead. They've been there, done that. And we have a couple underclassmen that have contributed. We have a 6'8" underclassman, a junior named Sean Alter. He's a homeschool student athlete. He's contributed. We have a freshman who's 6'5" that's helped us, Kenyon Awino. And then we have a couple other underclassmen that are getting in the mix, but it's fitting well together. Job's not done. We got to keep growing, and but it's been an enjoyable season so far.
Coach, I looked at your stats, and you didn't put them on a line, but I added them up, and this is unofficial. Scoring at 77.05 points per game and allowing only 45.8 points per game. Of course, that's unofficial, but that's that's what I got out of your stats so far. And defense has always been a big thing for you, going back to when you were coaching at Manzano, when you were coaching with your father at Albuquerque Academy. Talk a little bit about the defensive philosophy. You mentioned you've got some rim protectors in Aquino and Sean Alter. You've got some. Jaden Malone is the son of the former Highland star Kevin Malone, and I coached Kevin at Highland a little bit, and they're different players. Kevin was an inside player. Jaden's a wing. Jaden's got some exceptional skills. Talk a little bit about your defensive philosophy. You've always been an excellent defensive coach. Talk a little bit about that defensive philosophy that you've instilled in your Hawks this year.
So we have some bench depth. And so we do like to get to our bench so we can defend for longer stretches, for longer periods of the time, the quarters, and go to our bench. We like to extend our D at times. It just depends on who we play as well. We have been fouling a little bit too much, which has been a concern, because with the aggressiveness comes some fouls. So we're learning how to adjust. I've had to reach out to some officials and get some clarification, but it's mostly hand checking and overextending ourselves and that type of thing. Still working on our true defensive identity. We have good ideas of what we like to do. But Jaden Malone is one of our leaders on both sides of the floor. He is one of our seniors, 6'4", unsung hero. Jaquan Hill and Caden Valdez are leading us in scoring, but Jaden, he's not the most outgoing personality, but he's a vocal type of basketball player. And so he contributes in that way. And Oscar McCoy as well. He's one of our better defenders. And so defensively, we're always going to make sure that, we take care of that side of the ball first. And, offense is usually easier for us. Just space it and play and share, and hopefully we hit shots.
You mentioned some of the things you had to reach out to. Those things are correctable, though. The things on defense you're talking about that you've had to reach out to officials and talk about the hand checking and rerouting, things like that. It's good that I think your dad had no problem reaching out. He left me a message one time when I had my first game up there at Academy, one of my first varsity games, and him and Terry Darnell, and Coach Darnell, who I love to death, Coach Darnell, and your dad would let me know, and ask me questions. So I think that's good that you're asking, what can we do better defensively? You've always been a great defensive coach, though. You and your brother and your late father, you learned a lot of your defensive philosophy from your father. And we're going to keep mentioning your father because what a great man. I loved your dad. I mean, he was my coach at Holy Ghost. And I told you your mother was your grandmother was my teacher. And I still remember both of them very, very well. They had a lot to do with the, forming of my life and some things that I did later. They're good people. You're hopefully lucky to be around good people in what you do. You've got district is a tough district. You've got Rio Rancho on Thursday, and you've already beat them once. And my good friend Wally Salata is, as we speak, in between classes, because he's a teacher, he's got a job to do. But I know he's in the lab working on. I know Wally so well, like I know you, right? And I love Wally because Wally's that guy, the scientist in the lab. Well, what concerns you about Rio Rancho, the rematch here? You beat them at Rio Rancho. What concerns you about their team coming in to Volcano Vista on Thursday?
Yeah, so it's district, and we understand this is a different season, and we know that these games are going to take on their own life, and we have a healthy rivalry with Rio Rancho. You have to beat Wally's teams, I mean, you have to. They defend in a certain way that causes problems. They got good size, and they get the ball into the paint. They use their weapons well. They got a senior, it's about 6'6", Keegan, who's he's a tough matchup for people. So anyway, we know it's going to be a tough game. We'll be prepared. We did get to see him earlier in the Metro tournament, and we went into halftime down. We got down double figures. And they really came out and put it to us, and had to make some adjustments. And so we're looking at film and, trying to focus on a combination of getting ourselves better and preparing for Rio Rancho.
It's always the adjustments are so big, especially at halftime. You got a tough district you play in, Cleveland and Cleveland. You mentioned having the rivalry with Rio Rancho, and the last time you beat them 73-57. I got to ask you, last season you mentioned going 5-5, and I'll tell you, it's like the last season never ended, right? Because it stopped like in May, and then we had some time off, not as usual, the usual time off. But talk about a little bit about the challenges of start, stop, and now it seems like we're back to no fans again. Although there's going to be 2 representatives allowed in this week for teams and players, it's been a challenge for sure. And talk a little bit about how it affects us, Coach, a little bit. You played at the Academy, you played at Oklahoma Christian, you played in front of fans. One of the things your dad told me was the last game that your grandmother and your grandparents saw was you winning a championship, I believe. And your dad told me that. And so
right.
How's that been an effect of the starting? And again, we're not talking about the policies or anything like that. How's it been an effect on the kids, though? How's that affected you and the coaching and the kids?
Last year it affected us. We and it affected me as well. And it was hard to understand things. Things were very unpredictable. We didn't play our best last year. We're in a tough district, so there's no pre-district schedule. There's no find yourself. And so Atrisco didn't have a problem with it, and neither did Cleveland, but we did, and this year we were able to, get to work, on our schedule and kind of in our way, on our time, and try to get the thing going the right way, because basketball, it's a marathon, and you need some early ups, you need some early downs so you can grow and learn. And even though we are undefeated, we've had our struggles, and in COVID being one of them, we've anticipated it. The resiliency is something that our kids seem like they're about. I need to be a little bit more about that as a coach, because it does frustrate me that we can't share this experience in the way we would like to with our families and our friends, for them to be at these games, because I think that is important to our community. And so we've tried to do it in other ways, social media and get our games online and reach out to our
I think we've temporarily lost Coach Brown. We'll take a break and come back to the sports desk after these messages.
Ball heads the other direction. And good steal away by the Storm for 2. Aubrey Jaramillo.
Oh, I'm sorry, 8-2. Another steal by the Bears. Ahead to Ottman. Ottman lays it up and scores. Riley Ottman already has 6 points and
the other side, fires it to Dyer. Dyer left it open. How about that defense? You can't leave the ball exposed like that, can you?
Henna shoots for 3. Tipped up and good. Kennedy Brown. Bears have used 2 timeouts. The Hawks have used 1. Natalia Chavez. Holy cow. Yeah, entire game. Here's Jaquan Hill. Sets up Alter on the dunk. Coach Hogan about Riley. She mentioned, the other day against El Dorado, she didn't have a big game. Oh, breaks an ankle, puts in 2. Riley Ottman.
Latavius looks up. There's 8 to play.
He's going to back him up, take a shot. Yeah.
Nope. Way back 3. Yes, he banks it in from way back downtown. It's 5 to shoot. Judah looks up. He sees it. 3 to shoot. Oh, he put the youngster on skates, and he buries the 3. Ball's loose with only 4 seconds to play. Pacheco picks it up and fires! Yes! Pacheco ends the quarter from midcourt for the Jaguars. Heather Driscoll will take an 18-13 lead into the second.
I prefer to do stuff online. I can find things much quicker, do the research I need, and have it shipped or waiting for me to pick up. The Shop by Payments option was perfect for me. I got online, clicked on Shop by Payments, put in my down payment and monthly budget, and the guessing was done. From laptop, I was able to nail down the bike I wanted, add a few customizations, and get an estimate on my trade-in.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. I'm Ben Lucero, president and owner of Indigo Mortgage. We are a locally owned and operated mortgage company right here in New Mexico. This means your loan officers and processors are right here to serve you. Our mortgage divisions include residential, commercial, construction, reverse mortgages, and VA mortgage loan. Indigo Mortgage, because nobody cares more about your mortgage loan.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our special guest today, Volcano Vista boys head coach, the undefeated Hawks, #1 ranked in Max Preps, Greg Brown. Coach, we were talking about before you left about the difficulties of dealing with COVID, but I got a quote from you from someone that knows you very well. He's the best coach in the state, hands down. Nobody prepares their teams better. He is a grinder / gym rat, and that's from your brother, Danny Brown at Sandia.
Thanks, Danny Brown. He's a little biased.
No, you know what? I got to go back to this. That when your dad was still coaching at Academy, and your mom, you were coaching at Monzano, and Danny was at Highland. Your mom would be in the stands with a shirt that went both ways. Your mom, Carol, who's still a big supporter of your program and your brother. And so it was funny. I used to watch when I'd referee. Right, I'd watch your mom was. Her emotions were in half, right? But it's, you think about that, Coach. You're lucky that you came from that tree, right? And you and Danny have a great, healthy rivalry, a great love for each other, and deep respect. So when I asked him to provide that quote, I got a little bit touched by that, because you guys may go at it a little bit, talk a little bit of trash to each other, but you love each other very much. Definitely.
Yeah, we've, we do this for a bigger purpose now, we wear purple shirts for my dad, and I'm coaching my son and my nephew, and they're on our roster, and kind of get to do it. My brother's son is coming up in the ranks, and his daughter is 8th grader, and she'll be with him at Sandia. And so we're getting ready to kind of go through what my dad went through with us, and just really want to enjoy it. And we have a lot of phone calls. Just had one recently, Ed, of, hey, how would Dad have handled this situation? And just because coaching your kids isn't an easy thing, and he made it look easy, even though I know it wasn't. And so, but yeah, it's going to be fun. And we, like I said, we're playing for something bigger. We're coaching for our family and things like that.
Well, your son, Hudson Brown, the freshman, is on your roster. And I want to mention your daughter, Kennedy, who plays for the undefeated Volcano Vista girls, the defending champions. You know what? When I watched her play last year, I love the way we called it. Rich Harbin was my color commentator.
Yeah.
And he called it the physical hustle of your daughter, getting on the floor. You know what amazed me about her? Coming from on the floor position and finding the shooter, boom, finding Jalen Bates in transition. She doesn't have the numbers of scoring, but as far as what she contributes basketball IQ wise, you've got to be very proud of her as well.
She's super fun to watch play. She's the organizer, and she's a center back in soccer. It's like the point guard in soccer as well. And she's been, she's, despite COVID and cutting seasons in half, she's had such a blessed high school career with playing for Coach Lisa and playing for Coach Sam Lucero, and she's on a couple of good club teams and doing well in school. So I'm the proud papa with her, for sure. With all of them. Yeah.
Well, it was you and your brother both followed your father's footsteps, and I want to go over your assistant college coach for 2 years at Oklahoma Christian. Assistant varsity coach at the Albuquerque Academy for 2 years, head coach of Monzano from 2003 to 2007, 2006 state champs. Whoa, what a team you got. You had Jacob Case, Cesar Cuevas, Chancellor Bell, I believe, loaded team. What I mean is talent, and they get great coaching as well. Volcano Vista champion in 2017, state champs, district champs in 10, 12, 14, 16, and 19. So you know what? You've built your resume. You've got respect from all over the state. There's no question about it.
Thank you.
I've always we had some tough when I officiated, but you know what? You fought for your team. I never took none of that personal, man. We'd always laugh afterward, right? You know,
Yes, sir.
you got to do your job. I understood that. And I think, again, you've done a wonderful job in putting this roster together. And, team, I got to ask you this. You mentioned this to me a few minutes ago. Everyone's saying you're on a collision course with Las Cruces, right? But you as a coach that's been around, it's won 2 state championships, we both know business has to be taken care of first. We can't even look to that. How do you keep your team grounded? And you had one close call. Jaquan Hill, last second shot against La Cueva. What a shot that was. Left sideline, 3-pointer, win for win against La Cueva. And how do you keep your team grounded to say, we can't look ahead. We've got to keep things right in front of us. How do you do that?
So our district helps us with that, because, we have Cleveland and Rio Rancho and Atrisco and Cibola in our district. And Cibola has beaten us the last couple of years. Cleveland has had our number. Rio Rancho, it's always a dogfight. And Atrisco is, one of the best programs in the state. And they're not losing a beat, or skipping a beat. Coach Ortega is now helping us in a different capacity. And, Coach Steve Heredia has got those guys playing. So, we know. It's just this team. It's a blessing of having seniors and having some adversity. And we didn't win district last year or the year before. And we had a very mediocre district record. And so our goal is to win a district championship. And by doing that, we have to take care of every day. If we have a game on that day, we got to take care of it. If we're practicing like today, we're blessed to have a week of practice. And so we got to really focus on taking care of today and staying present and trying to get better.
You know what it takes to win championships. And it's natural for kids sometimes when they see the rankings and the bright lights and the things that they've accomplished to get that attitude, right? We're the big man. But I guess looking across the hall at the undefeated Lady Hawks, who are the defending champs, that kind of keeps them grounded a little bit too, right? It's rare that you see 2 number 1 teams, right, in the same school, right? They're the defending champs, and I'm sure that kind of keeps the guys kind of like, because the ladies can say, hey, we got one up on you. We're the champs. So that kind of keeps maybe them grounded a little way. But here's what you got left. You got Rio Rancho, Atrisco Heritage, Cleveland, Cibola, Rio Rancho again, and then Atrisco Heritage. So you still got some challenges down that district path, Coach. And like you said, one game at a time. And I think sometimes with adversity, we've both been around the game a long time. Sometimes it's good though, right? Sometimes we don't want to cruise through things. We want to have some adversity to say, hey, where are we? Where are we at? How are we responding to adversity?
Yes, sir. We have some adversity now, Ed, because the bell just rang and all these students are walking around. I have to make sure that I say goodbye to them as they're leaving my class. Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Hi, Coach.
You guys have a good day.
No problem. We'll walk with you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Coach, we're going to let you go. Now, you know what? I'll tell you what, we sure appreciate. But if you can just tell us real quick about Papa Brown Scholarship Fund. We want to know about that.
So led by my sister, Sean Brown, my dad, before he passed, wanted to organize a scholarship and recognize 5 APS student athletes, and had some requirements about submitting an essay and having a certain GPA and being involved in an extracurricular sport, preferably. And so my sister has a Facebook and a website and everything. And we wear purple to represent my dad and his battle against MSA, multiple system atrophy. It came on as a form of Parkinson's. And so all the money that we're raising is going to MSA Foundation, and we're raising money to recognize, to create scholarships for 5 APS student athletes. And my sister, Sean Brown, is in charge. She runs everything. I spread the word, and she would be the contact person. Facebook is the best way to do that, with her. and reaching out. And Ed, I can give you, we can give you some of the information as well, and I could have her reach out to you.
Yes, we would love to. That way we can get the word out. We're always trying to do that. And I'll tell you what a fight your dad had. Your brother Danny would tell me about how your dad was doing. My brother played for your brother, your dad as well. I know,
Yes,
I know you know that back at Holy Ghost. So your dad touched so many people's lives. And I know a lot of the coaching philosophies come from him, what you do and how you do it. You've got Greg Brown's touch on that as well. Coach Greg Brown, top-ranked, undefeated Volcano Vista Hawks. Thank you so much for being with us on the Sports Desk. I'll see you Thursday night against Rio Rancho.
Appreciate you, Ed. Thanks for having me.
You bet. For producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
I prefer to do stuff online. I can find things much quicker, do the research I need, and have it shipped or waiting for me to pick up. The Shop by Payments option was perfect for me. I got online, clicked on Shop by Payments, put in my down payment and monthly budget, and the guessing was done. From the laptop, I was able to nail down the bike I wanted, add a few customizations, and get an estimate on my trade-in.
I'm Ben Lucero, president and owner of Indigo Mortgage. We are a locally owned and operated mortgage company right here in New Mexico. This means your loan officers and processors are right here to serve you. Our mortgage divisions include residential, commercial, construction, reverse mortgages, and VA mortgage loan. Indigo Mortgage